liked, some people didn't. How many of you liked it? And I want to use those hardware stuff like that.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
And yeah, and if you have questions, but I'll start with Eddie. If you have some questions for.
Can you please share some specific use cases where this can be used?
Sure. So we already are interacting with a lot of educational institutions where this is being used to, teach students about things in an interactive way. So there is a concept called Google Expeditions. This is a program that has been initiated by Google last year. What they basically do is supply these cardboard devices, 30 of them in a classroom with one tablet that is handled by a teacher, and the teacher could use these devices to actually transport the students to outer space one day and take them to a trip across the Great Wall of China the other day. So education is one very big use case. Apart from that, we also know that this technology is being used to bring down costs in the travel and tourism industry. So people who cannot afford to travel to far off places or who are bed bound, wheelchair bound can experience these places where they could have only imagined to go. Apart from that, there are applications in entertainment and gaming, obviously, because these devices are some high-end gaming applications can be developed on them. Apart from them, there are applications in medical field as well, where we can use telemedicine as a technology, not just for doctors to diagnose patients in remote areas, but maybe one day use a combination of robotics and virtual reality to conduct surgeries.
So why would you not just focus on one specific area?
Like I said, sir, we've already started venturing out in education specifically, and that we feel is our core focus area. The others were just use cases that people are free to try out, and I was just mentioning them.
Alright, any questions from the audience?
Yeah. So, hi Ashish, my name is Path. So you mentioned that Oculus Rift and other VR devices are a bit costlier, while this brings in, it basically is not that costly, which changes the game. But then with all the hardwares that are coming in the market from years, right, from the television to computer to mobile phones, it was always costly to start with, right? I forgot who said this quote, but I read this somewhere which says new technologies often comes through streets of the rich. And so that's how anything starts, right? And going forward, obviously Oculus Rift and any other VR device that comes in the market will, they will get cheaper, right? So how do you see this growing probably 3-4 years down the line, right? Because cheapness then may not just be the only thing out there, right?
So like I said, VR first, our USP here is not about creating cheap or, substandard devices. Like just the way you mentioned a quote, I'd like to tell you about a simple engineering concept called the Moore's Law. And Mr. Moore said many years back that every 18 months, the size of the chip or the semiconductor that is used in all these devices will reduce by a factor of 0.5, will come down by half. So when a chip size comes down by half every 18 months, it also means that the cost of these devices comes down substantially, right? The aim at VR first is not to create cheap devices, is not to maintain a steady price point. We just want to be one destination where you get all your virtual reality news, apps, latest updates. At the same time, be well aware of the kind of products that are existing in the market in this field. So it need not be cheap all the time, but yes, we want to be the first destination that you think of when you want to know anything about virtual reality. So cost is not really the USP or the primary objective, whether we want to reduce it or maintain it constant, is all a factor of market conditions.
Hi Ashish, my name is Pavan.
Hi, Pavan.
I think I've studied a little bit about the virtual reality, and I think what you guys are doing is absolutely amazing. And a couple of questions that I have is that how do you see virtual reality playing role or replacing 3D in films and in the future? And my second question is, how are you? There's a lot of news about the sickness for the people who are using virtual reality, which I think is a practical problem to face. So how are you going to face that problem?
Thank you for the question, Pawan. I'll answer the first question first. So when you come and compare 3D visual technology with virtual reality, there's a stark difference in the way in which you view these technologies. Now, the screen that you use in a 3D visual immersive experience is actually a 2D screen, but what you are using to access that screen is a pair of 3D glasses or some other accessory device. Your screen could be a augmented 3D screen, but at the end of the day, the picture is projected on a 2D surface, on a 2D plane of area. Now, when it comes to 360-degree viewing on a virtual reality device, the entire game changes because now we are still projecting the image on a 2D screen or a flat surface, but what this device does, or devices like this do, is allow you a 360-degree field of motion or a field of view, because the technology or the camera or the sensor that is capturing the content that you are seeing is not just capturing content in one field of view, it's capturing content in all the 360 degrees field of view, and at the end of the day, it's the phone or the other projection device that has these gyro sensors or some other gyro sensors which will allow you to see those 360-degree fields of view. So at the end of the day, it's about the technology that we are talking about here. 3D technology and virtual reality are two different things. I hope I made that clear. Coming to the second question, your question was about, can you just remind me what it was about? Yeah, motion sickness. So Google, when it came up with the Google Cardboard, said that we do not support the...
Ashish, your time is up, so just wrap up fast.
All right. So I would recommend that to avoid motion sickness in most people, don't go full-fledgedly into the experience. Take it in short bursts of 5 to 10 minutes and progressively increase the exposure that you have to this technology. With respect to the head straps and how they cause motion sickness, I'll take your question offline. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Harsha.
All right, thanks a lot, Ashish. I guess you benefited from some of the questions that
Sure.
these guys
A lot.
asked.
Thank you.
Obviously, all of you can visit this stall and experience their gadgets, and take your discussions also offline.
Thank you.
All
Thank you,
right,
Ujjwal.
all the best.